Welcome students on today's lecture on design of plate girder. So this is comes in module number 2, that is design of steel structure. Module 1 is design of RCC structure, and there we have already completed with the design of a circular water tank, rectangular water tank, cantilever retaining wall and comfort retaining wall. So let us start with module 2, and the part is the design of plate girder. Now, initially, before starting with the design, we'll just see what all are the plate girder and also the specification given in the code. Now, plate girder. A flexural member is designed for bending and shear when uh, generally a flexural member like beam. A beam is a flexural, so it is be generally designed for bending and shear. When the spans are large and loads are heavy, even I section with cover plates may be insufficient to support the loads. In case of very heavy loads, even the sections which are given in steel table, that is hot rod section, as per the SPSX, may be also insufficient for supporting load. In such case, we have to either increase the area or increase the section. Like in such cases, any of the following may be provided, that is two or more I section, plate girder, and truss girder. Now let us see about the first section. Two or more I section is uneconomical. Therefore, choice between plate girder and tension girder, truss girder only. So we have a choice that only we have to go with plate girder or truss girder. So plate girders have a movement resisting capacity between a rolled I section and truss girder. Plate girder can be built to any desired proportion to the suitable particular requirements and of cross section with exactly the same properties needed. So we can go ahead and give any of the dimensions for the plate girder. The disadvantage of the truss girders are and higher cost of fabrication and erection and problems of vibration and impact. Requirement of higher vertical clearance and maintenance is required. For light loads and short span, less than 10 meter, plate girders are uneconomical due to the increase in the connection cost and rolled eye sections are used. Plate girders are a built up flexural members. Now let us see the cross section of the plate girder. Now here you can see the first diagram, the cross section of the plate girder. So you can see there is a single plate at the center and there are four angles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is how they are connected. In this, if you see, you have two cover plates, four angles, and a plate in between. So the this middle portion is called as web from here to here, and this is called as flange, and this is the flange cover plate. In this diagram, if you see, we have three plates: one horizontal, two vertical, and horizontal, and they are welded. So these are bolted plate girder. These are welded plate girder. So this is also plate girder. So let us see. Their bending resistance can be increased by increasing the distance between the flanges. This in turn also increases shear resistance as the web area is increased. The meaning of this is the bending resistance can be increased by increasing the distance between the phalanges, that is this distance between these phalanges, that is the depth of the web. This in turn will also increase the shear resistance as web area increased. Okay, now let us see. Riveted bolted plate girders are economical, used between the spans of 15 meters to 30 meters span, whereas welded plate girders may be used up to 100 meters span. So, for a very short span, we use riveted or bolted plate girders, that is up to 15 to 30 meters. Until 100 meter, you go with welded plate girder. Now, let us see the elements of the plate girder. So, this, if you see, this is the cross section, how it looks. This one here on the right side. And this, if you see, this is nothing but the section in 3D, tried to show it in 3D. So let us see the elements of the plate girder. So first we have a web plate. So web plate is nothing but this plate, this one, web plate, which is plate towards the depth and at the center. The second, flange angles with or without flange cover plates for riveted and bolted plates. So These are the flange angles 1, 2, and 3 and 4 here. Then stiffeners, bearing stiffness, transfer stiffness, or longitudinal stiffness or stiffness that depends on where we are providing. Then splices for web and a flange. So here you can see connecting the splices for web and flange. So this is how diagram is. This is a portrait connection. So this you can see. This is a web plate and connected with four angles, and there is a plates here, and upon that we have a flange cover. So this is how the cross section is. Now let us see the design of plate gutter with the solid slab. With solid slab. Proportioning of web. It is assumed as 6 mm if painted and 8 mm if unpainted, where steel is directly exposed to weather, and for main member not directly exposed to weather, it should not be less than 6 mm with the stiffener placing. So this is the criteria. And this is the minimum web thickness given in criteria 8.6.1. They have given the steps. So steps, what you have to do: loads on the plate girder. Then we have to find out the bending moment and shear force. Then we have to decide the cross section of the girder. Then we have to decide the movement capacity as per clause number 8.2.1.2. Then shear capacity as per 8.4 and check for bearing stiffness. So this is how it is there. Now even the elements rough plan and cross section and elevation I will show you. So elements of plate cutter, as we discussed, we have web, flanges and stiffener. So this is a cross section. So this portion is web, this is the flange, and these are the stiffener in between here. So if you see along the length, so this is the flange, this is the end stiffener because they are provided at the end. This is the intermediate stiffener because they are provided intermediately. Here is the horizontal stiffener which you can see in the cross section as well. This is the spacing of stiffness. So webs of required depth and thickness are provided. Why web? That is, webs are provided to keep the flange plates at required distances and to resist the shear in the beam. So remember this. Webs are of required depth and thickness are provided to keep the flanges plates at required distances and resist the shear in the beam. Now flanges. Why flanges? Flanges of required width and thickness are provided to resist the bending moment. That means what? The flanges will resist the bending moment, acting on the beam by developing compressive force in one of the flange and tensile force in the another flange. Then stiffeners. Stiffeners are provided to safeguard the web against local buckling failure. The stiffeners may be provided as classified. So we have longitudinal stiffener, we have vertical stiffener. Longitudinal stiffener in the sense horizontal stiffener, transverse stiffeners in the sense vertical stiffener. So in the cross section as well. So this is horizontal stiffener. So this is a along the length. So longitudinal stiffener and transverse stiffener which are vertical. Now let us see. Transverse stiffeners are of two types: bearing stiffener and intermediate stiffener. So let us. This is the general idea about what is a plate girder. Let us see what is there in the code book and its specification. So this is IS 800 2007 steel structure. So general construction in steel code of practice. So let us see. This you have already used for the design of steel structure elements, for designing the columns, beams, compression member, then tension member. Okay. Now let us see about the plate girder. So here you can see in section 8 design of members subjected to bending. So you can see here we have regarding the plate girder, design of plate girder with solid wire. So let us go there. So here it is 8.6 clause number which is on page number 63. So we have design of beam and plate girder with solid wire, and we have here cross sections also. So this is the design of plate girder. So this is a half cross section where C is the spacing, D is the depth, and this is bearing stiffener, panel A, panel B. These are intermediate stiffeners. Here also you can see bearing stiffness and end post, and here end post and bearing stiffness. So according to the design, so what will come? According to the design 8.6.1. minimum web thickness. The thickness of the web, that is this portion, in between portion. The thickness of the web in a section shall satisfy the following requirement. So it should satisfy two following requirement. One is serviceability criteria and other one is compression flange buckling requirement. So let us see what is there in serviceability requirement. So first case, when transfer stiffeners are not provided, okay, that means what? When transfer stiffeners are not provided, that is vertical stiffeners are not provided. As you can see here, I mentioned the transfer stiffener are nothing but the vertical stiffener here. So when it is not provided, then d divided by tw, where d is the uh, depth of the web and tw is the thickness of the web. So I will show you clearly in the cross section. So d is the depth of the web portion and tw is the thickness of the web. So web connected to flange along with both longitudinal edges. D divided by TW less than equal to 90 web connected to the flanges along one longitudinal edges. Second, when transverse stiffeners are only provided. So here we have when 3D greater than C greater than D, and this is the condition, that is D by TW less than equal to 200 epsilon. When 0.74D less than equal to C less than equal to D, C divided by TW less than equal to 200 epsilon W. When C less than D, so we have to check what is the spacing and we have to find out, and out of this four, which is there, and go accordingly. Similarly, C, when transverse stiffeners and longitudinal stiffeners are provided at one level. So for this also they are given when 2.4D greater than equal to C greater than equal to D. So D by TW is less than equal to 250 epsilon. When 0.74D less than equal to C less than equal to D. So C divided by TW less than equal to 250 epsilon. And when C less than 0.74D, D by TW less than equal to 340 epsilon. So last condition, when second longitudinal stiffener at neutral axis is provided, so D by TW less than equal to 400 epsilon W. So where D is the depth of the web, TW is the thickness of the web, C is the spacing of transfer stiffener, epsilon they have clearly given yield stress of web, that is root of 50 by FIW. If FIW, that is web, it is of web. So yield strength of the web. So if the web is of hot roll, so obviously it will be 250 and epsilon W will be 1. FIW yield stress of the web. So this is how regarding the first point we have to go. Then next, compression flange buckling requirement. So this is about the flange. So in order, I will show you in the diagram itself. So this is the flange. Okay. So let us see. In order to avoid buckling of compression flange into the web thickness shall satisfy the following requirement. A. When transverse stiffeners are not provided, so it will be d by dw less than equal to 345 epsilon f square, where f represents flange. And when transverse stiffeners are provided, this is the condition. When C greater than 1.5D, D by TW less than equal to 345 epsilon F square. And when C less than 1.5D, D upon TW less than equal to 345 epsilon F. Where D is the depth of the web, TW is the thickness of the web, C is the spacing of the transverse stiffener, and epsilon F is the yield stress ratio of the web, which is root of 250 divided by F1. So this is how it goes. Even they are given how it is to be designed, a sectional properties, how to design. So we have to do according to 8.2.1.4. So let us see what is there here. So here there are a few cross sections. So 8.2.1.4. So this is how the tables are here. So 8.2.1.4 whole sentence on regarding to the. Now again I will go to the clause here. So already we have seen what and how. So next step we have to see these are few of the components of the design of the plate girder. So here we finish the compression requirements. So here they are given regarding the flange splices how, and also regarding the web it's given here how it is to be done. Then even the connection of the flanges to web is given, riveted and construction, welded and construction, how to do. Then regarding the webs also they given splices in the webs. Okay, 8.6.4.2. Also stiffener designs are given. In that stiffener design there are again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 components like intermediate transverse web stiffener as per 8.7.2, load carrying stiffener as per 8.7.3 and 8.7.5, bearing stiffener as per 8.7.4 and 8.7.6, torsion stiffener 8.7.9, diagonal stiffener 8.7.7, tension stiffener 8.7.8. They also give an outline of the web stiffener, stiff bearing length, eccentricity, buckling resistance of stiffener. Then also they are given a design of intermediate transverse web stiffener, general how to space it, outstand of the stiffener, minimum stiffeners. They are also given buckling check on intermediate transverse web stiffener, connection of intermediate stiffener to the web. Then even they are given the web checks here for the load carrying stiffener according to 8.7.3. Web checks they are given, bearing stiffener they are given design of load carrying stiffeners, so buckling check, bearing check, design of bearing stiffeners, design of diagonal stiffeners, design of tension stiffeners, torsion stiffeners. So they are also given the connection to the flanges in tension, in compression, hollow sections, horizontal stiffener. So we have to design accordingly for the plate girder. They are also given the cross section. So let us show it to you and how the plan comes. So this is how at the end bearing stiffness, stiff bearing length is calculated for the plate girder, and this is here and here. Generally, the plate girder are used for heavy loads in the industrial structures, generally to store something or having even a mezzanine floor may be there on the top. So this is how the design criteria. In when we start the design one by one, we'll see how it is to be designed. So thank you. We'll see you in the next class.